Good morning.
How are you?
It's morning.
That's a good sign. That's a
Yeah.
good sign. We're all standing.
How are you doing?
Okay. It's been a rough night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll heal. It'll
It
heal.
doesn't it doesn't look real swollen.
Oh, it's swollen.
Well, on the computer you don't look swollen.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping I look just normal. Nobody knows. It'll, you know, I like
Yeah.
to just glaze over that anything would possibly be wrong. So yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm sure I'll need a nap today.
isn't that an okay thing?
Well, it slows up my jam. Oh, there must be somebody else coming in too.
Oh, hang
Who do we
on.
have in today? I think Michelle Berg's coming in.
Yes. Um, Kathy, Janet, and Sandy are coming in.
Oh, good.
Hi.
Morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you have a fracture?
Yep. Right in my jaw.
And you're still here today?
And I'm still here. They pulled my tooth yesterday. And I've had the same dentist for 30 years. So actually I've had the same clinic. And so my dentist has retired and but they have a young dentist. But the person who ran that dental office and I have been together for so long. So like she and I like literally like have lunch on the phone kind of thing. So I get there and so anyway, she's like, why are you all geared up? And she's like, I'm gonna be there with your extraction. I'm like, way to go, Sarah. So Sarah, who, never does any of these things, whatever, she's like, nope, I'm going to stay and do it. And I'm like, okay, that's great. So we get it all done. My tooth comes out and I look over and Sarah is washing my tooth for me that she pulled out. And she's like, I got you a little envelope.
Oh.
That's for the tooth fairy, Mickey.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And I'm like, Sarah, I can't believe you're washing my tooth that you just pulled out of my head. And she's like, why not?
Oh my. So you in terrible pain?
Yeah, it totally sucks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It totally sucks. Okay,
Ugh.
Jamian's trying to get in. Now let me get her
Okay.
in. Hold on. I'll get her.
How did you fracture your jaw?
The tooth itself broke and then broke the jaw part. It goes up into your jawline. Yeah, so it'll be 8 weeks to regrow the bone.
The tooth sort of split and
Yep, and then it,
Ouch.
yeah. So, but the bone itself will repair. I mean, you just,
yeah.
you put in bone grow.
You just can't eat.
No, you can't eat, no.
Ugh.
So
No.
who is trying to get in, Mickey?
Jamian. So she'll probably pop in.
Yeah, I sent everybody the link in case they didn't get it.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you for that, Karen.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
Janet, I have no idea how you ended up being Kathy.
I didn't mind.
yeah, it works fantastic. Well, while we're getting in and everybody's here, let's do it because it's a nice small group today. So let's do check-in because we haven't done it in a long time. So give us we've got time for those 3 minutes. So give us an update. Let's start with you, Janet Mills, since I saw you the last.
Hello, I'm Janet Mills. I just came from the dentist too, but
Oh,
nothing like Mickey. And I'm a graphic designer who does a print magazine. Had little side gigs which are on pause, like a symphony that's not performing. Was one of the clients. And part-time job would also be being happy Trying to make kind of like just being at the dentist. They have little rooms, cleaning
Yeah.
and exams. Little rooms for, I can't think about Kenosha right now. My brain will blow up. I can't, and just sort of managing all the stuff that's going on in our country because of how divisive it is. We're not pulling together. We're going further apart. Learning how to cope with rationing news and stuff like that, and not letting that affect my productivity. So that was the biggest learning thing I did this last summer.
Yeah, what did I do
Dedicated.
in summer?
Yeah, and dedicated to our re-understanding my city and racial justice and how things are going to rework.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
yeah.
my check-in.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah,
And
ongoing.
today's theme is founders mentality. What of that rang with you today?
Let's see. I'm blanking. I read the email like last night and a while ago.
You don't have to. It's good.
Okay. I'll listen.
Sometimes people just
Open
come
mic.
and they miss everybody else.
Okay.
Okay, Kathy, give us your update. We haven't heard from you so long.
You have to unmute yourself. Good.
I
Yay.
Yay. So March, April, May. Yes, Ethan. It's fun having them home all the time. March, April, May, brutal.
Brutal.
June, brutal. July, took off like a rocket ship. It's been full bore, all I can do to keep up since July. It's amazing. I'm seriously having my best life ever. I'm so friggin' happy. I don't even know what to do with it.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Like you guys, I was at the dentist and got my new front tooth because in May it broke out, which is great because, the dentist was kind of off limits for a while. So I got a new tooth yesterday and I'm pretty excited.
Dental week. Dental month.
Dental week for everyone.
Yeah, yours is kind of the like worst case scenario though.
Oh no, I'm still here. Right.
Well,
So, okay.
And you have your tooth in an envelope. What more could you want?
Right. Right. Who doesn't want that? I can carry it with me. All right, Donna, let's go to you.
Hi, I'm Donna, and I have the NW2 business with the venture of soccer birds. And, I also have a day job, a pretty serious day job that offers a living wage that I can work from home. We're not going back for at least till January, they say. So
Ooh.
just really I've been developing my love for that job because it is offering a tremendous amount of stability and peace and fabulousness. I have a needs box and I laid out all the things that this job gives me, and there's like 24, at least 24 things, needs that this job meets. And so I've just kind of been focusing on that. August was a birthday month, and then I got to see my dad. And so I'm like, I can't believe 3 weeks is, I can't believe it's already a new month. I'm just kind of still figuring that out. So
It's flying by.
it's flying by. Yeah. So things are still kind of in a stasis sort of hold position for me and with my business, but I keep showing up to this networking event to like get whatever inspirations I can get from you guys. So thanks.
Good. Well, we're glad you're here. Sandy, give us your update. You've had a big summer.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm having a good year. So spring was great, and then summer slowed down somewhat, but still always had clients to work with. And now fall seems to be getting busier, so I'm getting a little bit nervous. I get nervous when I get too busy. So anyway.
You have helpers.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. So that's good. This year, I got reacquainted with my backyard and that pool that I bought, and I laid out there in my on my birthday, which was Sunday, for a little bit. And you saw Prava stop by.
Yep.
Those blue roses and some brownies and a gift card. She's so sweet. But last summer, I was so busy that I didn't even get to hang out in my backyard or do any gardening or weeding or anything. And now this year, I'm like, oh, this is nice. And I'm actually already past last year. You know, last year, even though I was busy, it kind of was not that great financially. I mean, it was fine, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And this year I've surpassed that. So, you know, every year is different and the pace, and I'm really enjoying your stocks class.
Oh, good.
Learning a lot. Oh my gosh.
You're doing a good job. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we had a new kitty.
Oh, yeah.
I got a new kitty, you know, so that's awesome. He's awesome and we're happy.
Good. Good. All right, Marge, I'm going to go to you, and then Jamie, and I'm on to you after that. You got to unmute, Marge.
Hi. So I have two things happened yesterday that were honestly the same day, like a month ago, didn't happen. But we finally last night signed that agreement on this farm. And so this is an abandoned farm. So I wish I'll have to share photos at some point, but it's been abandoned for over 7 years. And there's raccoon tracks in the house and about 50 mattresses in the pole building, but it's 21 acres, not far from Hudson. And it's like a complete, I don't know. I saw it for a client who said Amityville horror and they wouldn't go in. And then I went over and looked at it, and it just drew me in, and I knew we had to have it. So I just pursued. We've had, I mean, it's just been ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And now she came back and said, well, if we can close in 30 days, great. And I've already had, for Sandy, I've already had the perk test for a septic, and I've had the inspection without ever having an agreement signed, you know, but at least I know what's there. And it's just like with the rates right now, it's literally if we would have signed last month, the payment would be the same as what it would be for my 2-bedroom townhouse in St. Paul, or I mean in Maplewood. So it's amazing.
So,
But
so basically you're going to be living in an abandoned farmhouse. Is that what's going to happen?
Well, it's like I mean, it's a long story. I'm going to set up like Instagram or something, you know, like keep a story going. I'm going to try to work with somebody and because I want to have prep and serve store. There's a 7,000 square foot pole barn, a machine shed, and a cattle barn. And I'm going to grow that business at some point. And then I did have, I'm partnering with a friend who owns a company that's doing my shades, and I will get all production out of here by January. So production will go to their factory. And that's hallelujah. You know, I'm not a producer, I'm a creator.
Right.
So
well, good. Welcome
really,
back. We are so glad to see you. You'll have a lot of input probably today on Founders.
Well, that's why I was having so much trouble getting on, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a good one for me. But I might need to leave for, I'll just probably rewatch this other webinar later. It starts at 10, but it's probably on repeat, so.
Okay. Jamie, and give us your check-in. And then Michelle, we're on you after that. You got to unmute.
Okay, I'm unmuted, I think. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. My check-in, life is crazy over here. It's just been crazy the last couple of weeks. And but business is okay. My new event center here, we have been just building and getting started. And then just on a fluke of me doing some research, I partnered with another huge venue. I'm meeting with Friday to work with his daughter who's taking over his business, and just by me going there and talking, I talked myself into another partnership.
Good, good.
And,
now, you had to build a whole new team out there.
Yeah, I've been, part of it is in, like, I've had the team, and then I did a big hiring, like, portfolio Zoom type of let me find team out here. So that's been good. And then I've been using my network, my sorority network to say, hey, I'm here and can you connect me? And so with that, it's been like like being really cool. But one of the cool things that's happened is my family has a couple of big plots of land in Tennessee. And one of them is called the Ponderosa. That's what my granddaddy used to call it. And I've wanted to do, it's just trashed right now, but I've wanted
Right,
to
I've
do,
seen the pictures. Yeah.
yeah, I've wanted to do something with it for a while. And I had to get all the brothers and sisters, the aunts and uncles to agree to giving it to me and taking it over. So my uncle they just signed the paperwork to like agree that I can have, control of the land and stuff.
Good.
And he's going to be sending me, he got somebody this week to go out to draw up the blueprints of the land so I can start to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with it.
Right.
But yeah, so business life is good. And it's been good. So I don't know. I'm excited about today's thing. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I think there'll be a lot in here for you specifically.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, give us your check-in. You've got a lot of big news for everybody.
I don't know if it feels like that, but yeah, I mean, life is just plugging along. Most things are normal. On a fun side, I have been really focused a lot more on self-care the last couple of months. And out of that has come probably what you're referring to is some artwork, and that artwork is transforming into I have a print-on-demand type shop, and then some items, and I don't really know if it's very visible. I don't really know. This is one of the symbols, and it's on a keychain. This one is on my desk, so it doesn't have a tassel on it, but so I'm kind of just playing with all of that and trying to figure out where to go with it, because it just started as some artwork that was meaningful to me, and the response that I got was kind of unexpected and kind of wonderful. So we'll just,
So can I bring everybody up to speed where you're at?
yes.
So she started just craving to do mandalas. So she was just doing mandalas, drawing them, and she's an artist, a graphic design person, and then started that kind of led to another piece, which was making these symbols out of words that are meaningful, that kind of look like runes or symbols, and they're symbols that are specifically to a word. And so the symbol that she was showing you is, I don't know what word that one is.
Abundance.
Abundance. So it's really making a graphic rune, R-U-N-E, of a word. And sometimes you can see the actual letters in it. Have I described it correctly?
Yeah, for sure. In the beginning, I think you could see pretty much all of the letters pretty clearly with a little bit of deciphering. But I realized after a conversation with you actually that I don't know, it just felt a little heady. And so I decided that maybe I wanted it to be a little bit more obscure. So the letters are absolutely all still in there, but they've evolved a bit into looking for more symmetry.
Yep.
And adding the letters in kind of a unique way sometimes so that they aren't as obvious. So like this one is honor. So certainly knowing that, you could pick that apart, but my goal was really more like, for the symmetry of it.
Right. So, and coloring and so forth. So you've got something new to bring to the market.
Yeah.
Michelle, is there a place people can go to get one?
Not yet. Well,
Okay.
I set up a shop on Redbubble, but I have not promoted that at all, and not all the designs are up there.
So probably next month we'll have another check-in.
Yeah. And then these are samples. These will be printed locally.
Right.
And because that's what my daughter does.
Good. And then we've got one last person to check in. Last name Day.
Yes,
I think she's waiting to get in.
Oh, okay.
No,
It's my cousin. She said she's waiting.
Yeah. She's in.
Okay, I'm in. I'm sorry, I'm late though, so I don't know what we're doing right
Hey, just introduce yourself to the group.
now. Okay. My name is Jay Bowman. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Jamie's cousin.
Good. Welcome to the
And
group.
thank you.
And do you have? And are you a business owner, or tell us a little bit about you?
Yes. Okay, so I own a business called Jay's Body Cafe where I make my own handmade body goodies without all the gunk.
Oh, we love it. So there's a chat box. So for all of you, welcome, Jay. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
If you push in down at the bottom, there is a chat box that is there, so you can put in your, and I'm going to be typing in it right now. So hi, everybody. So you can put in your information. When we do the recordings, this also comes in, so you do get that. Karen does a really good job of that. Karen, do you want to give us a quick introduction of you and to our new people? And
Oh, wait. I was somewhere else here.
oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. I was trying to find this one here. I was trying to see who was on because I didn't have the day person there, so I didn't have any information on her.
Good.
And I'm glad she's brand new. My gosh.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Well, I haven't been to the dentist, so I
Right.
feel left out. I've been taking a writing class online, which has been fun. It's through Wesleyan University, and it's been interesting because it's very different from any other writing class I've taken. It's not a lot more structured for one thing, and it kind of reminds me of grad school. So,
Right.
and the assignments are kind of hard, and it's been a difficult month, I would say, just health-wise for Michael, and so he's having surgery today. I have to take him in at 12:30, and we're worried about it, but not very. It's not real serious, but it feels like it.
Right.
So yeah,
Oh.
and then of course we have you with the broken jaw.
It's not that bad. Don't worry. It's just a fracture.
I'm your mother. I'm allowed to worry.
There you go.
Yeah.
You are
So
allowed.
otherwise, it's been, I was outside for quite a while yesterday, visiting with a friend, and it was so beautiful. I love fall. That's my favorite season because all my favorite colors, and the weather is nice. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, good. Thank you so much for coming.
And your stock class was super, and I hope you do
good.
it
So you're
again.
enjoying it too?
Oh yes, very much.
Good.
And
Sometimes
I
I
hope you
miss
do it
it.
again in case people want it, that didn't take it, could take it, because it's not. It's very accessible.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What I like about that stock class is you'll get something even if you've done a lot of stocks or not a lot, and I like it that it's mixed. It's men and women in there. It's every different kind of person who's got some skills and some not skills. Sandy, I bet you could respond to that better. And Donna, you're in that class, aren't you? In the stock class?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. What are you taking away from the stock class?
Well, it's within reach. I mean, we're making a little plan. We've never dived into it, but I'm just looking for the on-ramp, and I'm thinking after the election would be a good time because they talk about things dropping after elections, and I'm like, oh, I'll get in then.
And then Sandy, what are you taking away from that class?
Well, just learning from zero. Like I didn't know anything. Wasn't really interested at all, but I thought, well, if this is the class that Mickey's taking, I'm definitely going to take it. And I've learned so much, but I mean, it's helpful to know how to read those different symbols and all the different things on Yahoo Finance. And then also you talked about the Roth IRA. I've got to do that. And also to set a price that you want to buy a stock at this price. And when it's this price, you're going to sell it, just to have a plan in place. So those are probably the main things I learned so far.
Good. Well, good. I'm glad that all of you are enjoying it. I'll do it again, but I'm going to take this group forward first. So we've got we've got quite a big group in that. So we'll start from the beginning with another group. I'm going to start sharing my screen today. We have lots to go over. A lot of what our topic is going to be today is going to apply to the majority of everyone here. And that is really about, thinking like a founder, that many of you are the founders, but there's a lot of pieces in being a founder that I want you to kind of re-grasp at, that we have. Some of you have already gone through your founder's story, but again, that's somebody that creates the organization. It's a very different conversation or role in the marketplace than a executive or a CEO. A founder is also the magic story behind this. They are the one who creates it. A founder is someone who has created something out of nothing. And it's not a franchise that they've bought into. That's the magic of a founder, is they've created something out of nothing. The other thing that I love about language is it is also it is also the action verb of failing miserably. So I think there's a little fun with that, because we all worry about that, right? The piece that I love about founders is that, again, they are on a mission, and missions can be hard. But what I want you to think about is the transformation. We've had this conversation about the difference between hard and effort, right? So I do want you to kind of go out of this word of hard necessarily, but really moving it into effort. So delivering on a mission takes effort. And that effort is the language, right, of birthing, of creation, of something that takes a lot of effort to creatively build, whereas hard is, right, kind of against you. It's survival. It's difficult to do. But what they do have all in common is that it's going to build you an unpredictable life. And someone who is driven by mission, they're never going to apologize for hard work. They will always have this attitude that they're just never going to give up. And no matter where you find them in their business plan, there's this little piece of DNA that goes through them that they're never going to give up. It could be 10 years later. It could be that they've been fighting through some of these things for many, many years. I look at the conversation around Beyond Meat as a company that they had 20 years of really painful research before they got to where they are today. And that's because somebody had an idea that they were really willing to fight for. This is where I'm going to give you your first piece of homework. So you'll see this slide twice, of really understanding what is your mission and why does it drive you as the owner, as the founder, as that person. You don't have to represent yourself as a founder necessarily, but the founder's mentality, I have found, really changes the way that people interact with the importance of the business that they're doing, because it's really easy to get stuck in the everyday garbage of there's lots of paperwork, that I don't really feel like it, or I'm lonely. Entrepreneurship can be very, very lonely. And when you start to look at that as a founder of somebody who has a mission that they have to bring forward to the world, or they'll just burst, that is a very different piece of energy. They will fight through anything. And they will take a rest, they'll look back, but they will come back to it always. And deciding that you are the founder of a concept will really help you. And that may be around access, that may be around product, that may be around whatever is in that mission. There is this very unique little subset in founders, and these are these bold leaders that are really going to prioritize new growth versus these little tiny efficiencies. So when you look at that, when you look at startup people who have startup energy and they feel like they're flittering all over the place, that they're going from one thing to the other, and they just look like they're in a hullabaloo everywhere. it is often because they are focused on new, shiny thing. And they're not really focused on the efficiencies in their core business. If you are that unique subset, a visionary, a bold leader, I want to do this, we've got to go here, we've got to put this product here and here and here, that's really great for startup energy. It's terrible for long-term relationships. So they're really going to have to find other people to partner with that can build those efficiencies. That's why I assign a lot of times admin to people who are learning how to do things, because that core function of your business has to get done. And those bold leaders will never be the person to do that. And you can yell at yourself for it, but it's not going to actually get the work done. So you need a worker bee. The other thing I love about founders is they are happy to improvise. That they, you can throw them into a den of wolves and they will come out with a pack that can drive it across Alaska, right? I mean, that they just will improvise. They cannot be set in their ways. They must be flexible, and they must be flexible because they have to recognize if there's something that can drive their business forward, they're going to have to adapt. So that adaptability is one of the magic traits that a lot of us can take on, because we like, me personally, right? I like things to work the same every time. I like reassurances, right? That I might like it to get easier, feel easier, as opposed to constantly being in growth mode, constantly looking for how to get this thing moving. That adaptability is to also release all of your tension around there might be a better way, as opposed to being stuck in, I built this way and now I don't want to unbuild it. So I had a neighbor that my living room looked into their living room, and I looked over every day for a week, and she just kept painting that room a different color every day. And the whole room, like, she would stay up all night. She put her kids to bed, and one day it was green, and then it was blue, and then it was bright yellow, and then it was white. And then it came close to the color it got when she bought the house. And I had said to her, what is that? What is that? And she's like, I had to figure it out. I just had to try on all of those colors to realize that this was the right color for my family in this room, because they spent a lot of time there. So adaptability. You're going to find your way. You're going to feel the color of the room that you need. Founders also have, the word founder is really foundational. And when we look at the knowledge that you have, I think the key word that I want you to take away out of this slide is yes, it's creativity, yes, it's determination, but it's really the native intelligence, that you're going to have to be really fearless around that native intelligence, and that founders are willing to create something from nothing. That is what makes them magic, because if they have no resources and no money and no time and whatever, they're still going to build it, because it just has to be done. And that native intelligence is one of the things that I really, really appreciate. So for those of you who are drawn to something that you just do it because you don't know why, and Donna, I would look that way to you. I would look that way to Marge. The other person that would be is Michelle, what you're going through right now. It is a body of knowledge that you can only learn by doing. And Jamie, and I bet that's probably for you, and Jay, that's probably you as well, right? That you just had to do something because you just knew it had to be done that way. And you've learned all this stuff along the way. If any of you are looking for a product that you will sell off, that you're going to want to get top dollar, the founder story is one of the largest things that is being looked at in all of the large buyouts that we've seen over the last 15 years. And that is that the founder story is worth it in the brand valuation. So we look at that as an older one, much older, as Mrs. Fields Cookies was one of the first to the market, where we had this founder story. She would make cookies for her husband, and this is a great story. it isn't particularly relevant in this marketplace. So when you start to look at the story of Facebook, right, these are young founders who have a story. Why did they create this? There is, if you look at Annie's as a food product, she has a story that is there. And many of those companies are sold for that reason. Coca-Cola has decided that it's going to go and kill a bunch of its brands that it has purchased for that founder's story, because Coca-Cola doesn't have something new to bring to the marketplace. What it has in the marketplace is that stability. It doesn't want to go back in and find all of that native knowledge and build all those stories. So it will just go shop the marketplace and purchase them. General Mills is the same way. We look at Procter & Gamble, things like that. Many of you have a love affair with a company called Burt's Bees, and you bought that product because you thought it had a founder's story to it. But the fact is that they sold that brand a long time ago, and now it belongs to a large corporation. So when you're looking at that native knowledge, do not underestimate the power, the potency, the value, the determination of that native knowledge to be able to not only build what you have, to be able to sell what you have, and then to create another. Marge, I think when we get to Q&A, I think you'll have a lot to say on native knowledge. So I would just put that down as a note for yourself. All of you who have actually built a business that makes money, as you know, ideas are not what build any business. It is not. That you can have a great idea, it's not enough. That execution is what builds business. And great founders know that they must recruit other people, because they're going to be great at vision. They're going to be great at some of these other pieces. But somebody has to be that worker bee. And that worker bee is going to have some different roles. Sometimes you'll start in knowing that you have a large brand, that you're building a large brand and you're building it to sell off. Many of you are building it because you want to have a long-term relationship with it, but that is far and away not the people that are coming from corporate right now, that they 100% are leaving corporate to build a brand that they can sell back to corporate. When you look at 3M, right, has built a whole center for these small businesses to be able to think tank. So you saw in the last 10 years, lots of think tanks, lots of creative groupings, people working together to try to build these hives of ideas that they can share resources and actually build a structure that's sellable, not necessarily a business that they want to keep for 10 years. The average time from a build to the end is usually about 15 years. So some of them can get done shorter, depends on who's there and how fast they can magnify. So some of these are being built to sell off. And that's where that founder story is really helpful. That's really where understanding what is the buy-in to that. When you're thinking about people who are co-founding, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to have a legal document to be part of that, but most of them do, because if it goes well, a co-founder wants a piece of the pie. That's why they're going to be that. And a co-founder is going to have a lot of thoughts just like the founder, but they're going to be fulfilling a gap. They're there to bring in a team. When you look at Silicon Valley, they are going to pick their key 5 to 12 programmers. They're going to put them in a little bubble, and they're going to just work like crazy night and day for months on end to be able to get to a product. And those teams are really going to be co-founder teams where they're going to get a percentage of the actual idea, and they're going to bring all of the sustainability into it so they can help it get there. If you are picking co-founders, this is the place where I find the most legal argument, the most annoyance, is picking co-founders that actually don't have time to dedicate to the idea. So Silicon Valley is a really great example of co-founders. If any of you remember a company called PayPal, One of the co-founders of PayPal is Elon Musk, right? He went in, he built it, programmed a lot of that with this other team. There were many people that started PayPal, then that led him to be able to have enough money to fund the things that he really wanted. And for those of you who are in the stock class, he built Tesla, and Tesla just had its stock split this week. So sometimes those people are really there for the build, and then they're going to go away, and that they're looking to sell out. If this is you, or if this is just you building your mentality and bringing it to an evolution, here's what I think a lot of you that are already in this class already have this skill. And this is where I would focus if you're looking to bring people in. Founders are trust builders. They are that handshake deal that you can work at the speed of trust with a founder that you can't work with anywhere else. Because they're the founder, they get last say often. And they have to build the trust in the idea of the employability of the idea. They have to give that to their leaders or to their co-founders or their partners. Why would I take a risk? That founders have a promise, and they will promise to see it through, no matter how hard or lonely or much time it takes. They will drive to the outcome. And this is where most small business owners fail, is because they put themselves in a category that they just own a small business, and those fail sometimes, versus a founder who's going, no, this must come to market. This must come to market. And when we look at the leaders that they hire, they're going to hire people to take in what I call the rigor of logic. Those are the leaders that are going to kind of become the protectorate of all of the stuff that has to be done, of the execution and the speed at which things are done. Those leaders are going to be the ones that are going to lead individual teams, and they're going to really focus on that rigor of logic. This is why we founded, this is what's here, this is our mission, and they're going to be that protectorate on the execution of getting it done and moving it through quickly. They've got to be able to trust that the founder has them to be able to deliver. Now, we've talked a lot about courage in the past, of what builds courage in great leaders, or if you are having someone that really you want to come up in your organization and become that that fearless, lion-hearted individual, that individual will not be eligible to become that fearlessness unless they know somebody has their back. And one of the things about founders is that they often don't need somebody to have their back. They sure would like that, but they'll go in because they believe that the idea itself has their back. That this thing has to be this way because that's what's right in the world, or that's right in my world, or this is my destiny, or this is what I have to build. But they will also say, and if you build with me, I will make sure that I'll take you with me. And we've all learned, we've all met these people. We've all met people that are so inspiring because they're willing to dedicate their life to something, and the people around them that want to build a life in that way. I'm going to take a breath on this because it's really one of the things that we have a lot of argument over around failure. And what founders do is they test and learn. We've heard a lot of those conversations around fail fast forward, right? Fail forward fast. But a founder understands that they have to go somewhere, and they're going to obsess over something. They're going to obsess over the values or the delivery or the mission. They will obsess over a set of things because that is what they're doing. They're testing, they're learning. They're testing, they're learning. And when I go to the next slide, right, we often see that as fail forward fast. That failure is this conversation. What I do want to illuminate and put a cape on and have it fly around in your head about 1,000,000 times is, what is the purpose of failure? And we have a lot of conversations that are like, yeah, if you're not failing, you're not learning, whatever. The fact is that a founder is looking for truth telling. Failure is truth telling. And a lot of times we don't want to look at our own truths. Wayne Dyer used to get in a lot of trouble over this, that he would say, look, if you look at your life and you don't have enough, then that lets you know something, right? That if you feel that you don't have the things that you want added up, there's a truth telling that's in that. And people would be very annoyed with him because they thought it was careless. But the fact is that when you're working in a business, one of the reasons why people try things over and over and over again is so that they can get to a truth. Does that work? Does that not? A salesperson is only looking for the amount of ways it'll get them to the sale. So when you look at failure in general, I would look at, what are you aiming at that you're not hitting, and what is the truth that it's telling you, and are you willing to hear that truth? If sales aren't what you want, that means you're failing. Why are you failing? If your social media isn't where you'd like it, if your classroom size isn't that, if your product isn't moving, there's a lot of conversations. A founder's not going to take that on as a personal imperfection. They're going to just look at it as truth telling. If it's not working, why? Why isn't it working? And really, let's look for the tool to get to the truth that you want. That's why missions are super helpful. Because if you're not delivering on mission, right, you're failing at it. You're not getting what you wanted. So that may be customer satisfaction for some of you. That may be actual product, that the product has a purpose or a definition that you want your customers to get. But don't be afraid of failure. But I do want you to really, put the cape on that idea and let it fly around you, of being honest with what is failing. And being honest with what is failing, and then being willing to look at what is the tool that's needed to get you to the truth that you actually want. And I will say that probably 40 to 60% of the time, the truth that someone thought they wanted wasn't actually what they wanted. And that is what failure also tells us. Is this really the truth that you even want? That, making $100,000 a year or 500,000 may not actually match with your parenting goals or your lifestyle. That there are a lot of things that we can say we want, but you're going to not do it because you also know that it won't come to this other really important thing for you. And time is a really big thing for people. Many entrepreneurs, the reason that they chose entrepreneurship was because they could control their own time. And they don't necessarily want to work 90 hours, but they'll work it to get it built, but then they're going to hand it over and they want somebody else to work those 90 hours. So think about that conversation around truth, and be willing to look at it. Not in a judgmental way, not in really looking at I am a failure. I'm not asking that survival mentality. What I am saying is that I'm looking at the problem, the equation itself outside of you, and looking at that failure and saying, why is that a failure? The end, right? Why is it a failure? The end. And then deciding what are the tools that you want to apply to that. This is a role that some of you are probably in right now. I think I think in your product line, Marge, you may be in this as well, or not. You can kind of check me when we go to open, but a refounder is, for most of you, going to be a new term. For the next 4 minutes, I'm going to have all new terms. So if you're not writing stuff down or if you're doing other things, this will be the time to start taking notes. A refounder, much like a founder, and sometimes a founder turns into this when they have another role that they have to fill. Like the founder, they are people that are going to have to be creative all of the time. But when you look at what is here, this is where the magic becomes magic. A refounder is not there to just focus on grow, 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 grow. A refounder is there to really focus on leveraging. What are the assets that are already here? And how can I bring that to new offerings? And this is where you see real magic. This is actually where the largest amount of magnification comes. This is where the MBAs come in. This is where you have very specialized tools that are coming into the business model, because they're there to leverage what is existing. They're not there to fix the incremental things. They're not building infrastructure. They're not, forcing mission forward. They're really looking to create next generation. So that, and when we talk about, right, when do you need a helper? Sometimes you need a helper behind you cleaning up, and sometimes you need a helper forward paving the way for you. That's what a refounder is going to do. They're going to work ahead of you, of where is that solution that you could possibly fill. This is also a piece, if you want to understand what do I do all of the time, that TAM and TAP. These are, as you grow, depending on what your dollar amount is. As a strategist, I'm working a lot in TAM, right? And that is the total addressable market. So that is a lot of times, so for me as a business strategist, I'm going to come in, I'm going to look at what you do, what you have, and what's the total addressable markets that you can hit. And Marge, you're probably working a lot in this, and Michelle, this will be your next step. But when you start to look at what are those addressable markets, it is to look at what that potential is. So a lot of times I'll come into a business and say, hey, here's where you're at. Here's the amount that I see is available. I think you can do this amount of growth in this amount of time. You'll need about this many resources. Do you want to do that? And that's really where someone like me as a strategist is going to come in. That's a specialized field of what does somebody do to grow you. That's why I work in high growth so much. A refounder is very different from what I do as a strategist. They are looking at TAP. They're looking at the total addressable problems. What are the multiple problems that this can solve? And the other thing that I love about this mentality, this type of person, that's why so many founders come back in as refounders, that they'll build a base in their business and they'll come back in with this next mindset. Some can't ever get to that. So this role, I would think of it as a role. And that piece of really looking at the total addressable problems that your product can do is what is magic about the iPod, right? Remember who said, why would I need to carry 10,000 songs with me, right? That they went, no, look, let me rethink about this thing that's in your pocket that's called a phone. They're going to invent things that you didn't know you needed. And when we look at Donna, your model, I think this is another place where you can really go on your business model, is looking at your TAP of where are the things that you can place your product that they didn't even know that they needed. And Michelle, this will probably come up for you as well. When we go to homework, right, who is in your team? In order to go back to your TAM and your TAP, which is your homework today, right? What are the total addressable markets and what are the total addressable problems, markets problems? It's the only thing you got to remember. Who are the people that are going to strategize you through that? And then who is that team? Are these partners? Are these co-creators? Are these co-founders? Are they refounders? Who is your shopping list? And you are going to need a shopping list. And that shopping list is really great. That shopping list should be kind of long. It should be, these are the roles that I need, this is what's there. And when you start to build that shopping list on who is that team, some of you are going to need workers, some of you are going to need leaders, some of you are going to need product analysis, that there are many pieces that you're going to want, especially if you're trying to magnify. Some of you don't need to magnify, that you just need to come back in and really understand your mission and hone into what I call lovingly fat and happy, that honing into your mission with a founder's mentality and loving the fact that you can make great money and not have to take on all of the craziness, that's a real model and that's allowable. It's allowable to say, I want my life to look like this one thing. It's allowable. The mission of how you keep customers is still going to need that founder's mentality. People buy the why, not always the what. Think about who are your partners, who are the co-creators. Are you even a refounder? And do you need co-founders? The legal obligation around co-founders is going to require you to really think about a financial relationship. And like marriages, there is a doctrine that unites you and a set of rules. The piece that a founder also does, and this is where your homework is you've got to be able to get cash in the door, because those roles are going to require money. And it is that it doesn't have to be perfectly executed, that it just has to be fast, that it's fast. And I would do that top 20 list of what are the top 20 ways that I can bring money in fast. I don't care that it's magical heaps of money, but money in the door. When you look at founder mentality, again, they're going to focus in on how do we grow it? Let me get some growth. Let me get some growth. Let me get some growth. Because they're always cash starved to be able to build. It doesn't have to be executed perfectly. There are so many things that are not perfect that you'll buy anyway. That top 20 list in and of itself is probably going to give you some ways to think about. That might be a class, that might be different product, that may be letting people take things home after an event. It may be doing product packages, it may be doing wholesale, it may be doing a lot of things. But when you look at that top 20, I would look at what are those 20 ways. Sandy, you're going to have a difficult time with this task because you have one very large product. So on yours, I would amplify that of the 20 ways that you can reach into people. So that would be your in reach. How do we get in? What are the top ways I can get into people and get in there? Because that one product has 20 ways in, right? So that may be you looking at your markets or something like that. This is my big ask today for everyone, which is really to put your 2-year flag in the ground and to really go back to your founding mission and rework it and focus on that cash flow for the rest of 2020. We still have 4 months left in this year. It is only the 8th. Oh, it's the 9th month. So we have September, October, November, December, right? So we have all of September, all of October, all of November, all of December. So you truly do have some days here. And I would focus in on that cash flow or how to access that cash flow in a way that relates back to mission. That mission is going to be the superhero cape that you're going to be putting on with all of your teams to say, this is why we do it. And that as a founder, you're going to take them through whatever that takes. Then 2021 is execution. It is really building the team members with the cash flow that you put into the business plan in 2020, so that you can add in enough cash flow to build the individuals that you need. Some of you may need to build a sales funnel. A large sales funnel this right now is about $15,000, and it costs about $2,000 a month to run. A great sales funnel is about $10,000 a month to run. So when you start looking at where are you in that execution, it may be understanding how to build a sales funnel. It may be looking at tools or other relationships to help you grow a sales list, something like that. It's execution. Who are the partners that you're going to bring in? Where is the money? Marge, when we go back to open this up, this is going to be you talking about Pinterest, because that really helped build a sales funnel for you and what that looked like. And then in 2022, it really is what's the outcome that you're looking for? That what is it that you're looking to build into the marketplace? If you have just one product, it may be that that product has so many locations, that you have so many trade partners, but it's looking at what is that volume. For those of you who are selling products that are multiples, right? Jay, that might be you. That when you have many, Michelle, this will definitely be you, is to really look at placement and the financial goals of where it is. And how is it going into that marketplace, and how are you pushing it to that marketplace through your execution goals of 2021? How does it go through that sales funnel exactly where you want? So that's my ask. I'm going to remind you about the homework that I gave you, right? Go back to mission. Why are you doing this? Why is what you do important? Sandy, I'm going to go to your mission specifically, right? You're buying homes for people. Nothing will change that person's life more than the location of where they wake up every day, where their kids go to school, where they're shopping, what opportunity is there, how many access to medical. Nothing is more critical than your zip code. And it is, if you want to raise a family, zip code's a big deal. So what is your mission? Why did it drive you, right? We had this slide before. And the last piece, and I'm going to leave this up for a little bit because I really want you to think about it. This is a Fiverr, Fiverr. If you haven't gotten to know Fiverr, they are a great marketing tool for you. But it's really starting to understand the interview that you're going to have as the founder story. This is a great place to practice. Fiverr is an online, an online place where you can buy gig economy, GIG, gig economy, at an affordable price. But a lot of times there are people doing interviews, they're doing blog shows, they're needing to fulfill something, and you'll pay for that price. You'll pay a price to be on that show, but they receive something, you receive something. So I would look at the very basic questions. These are, I actually took these from a founder's conversation that we just had for a food product, come up in my personal life, of what were they going to try to build that interview off of. So they sent us some of the questions that they thought would make a good storytelling. And remember, a founder's story is a storytelling. Stories have tensions, they have breakthroughs. They also, in many cases, have advice. People want to know how you became successful. When the CEO of Spanx was building what she had, she knew that she was practicing her founder story all of the time. Of, do I want it to be like this? Do I really want to talk about the fact that I took pictures of my butt and brought them to Nordstrom's all of the time to show them what white pants look like? that her whole story came through because she wanted white pants that you couldn't see through. And that story is compelling for many people of what was she willing to do to create a product that had to get to a marketplace that they didn't know they need because they didn't know it was possible. And having a great looking rear in white pants was really important to a lot of women and a lot of men, because there's a lot of Spanx that go to men as well. So think about that breakthrough moment, the breakthrough that you personally have made, that all of us have that moment where the stars kind of open up and then the clouds, and it all kind of pours in. Oh, that something happened that made you go, oh, I totally get it. I get it. I get it. The other thing that others are going to want to know is the amount of ways that you failed, because they may be failing in the same way, but they also may not know that they're going to fail that way. And then the advice to others. One of the interesting things about advice is that lots of people are willing to give it, but not take their own. So please remember, I have a little funny saying of, please take my advice, I'm not using it. Right? Here, take my advice, I'm not using it. Only give advice that you're actually willing to take for yourself, that you're really willing to do. If you're not willing to get up at 5 a.m., don't give people that advice. If you're not willing to tell people that you should just cry your way through it, then don't tell them that. That we all have to face these pieces about being lonely, about the questioning around the tension, the pieces that we have to learn how to do. And all of the people that are in this class today, all of you have had to figure out how to build your dream while having a real life. And the management of those two items is incredibly unique and similar at the same time. So when you look at the ways that you have failed, what are the things that you've learned from them, and what are the things that other people can learn from your story? If you decide that you want to become successful and have that be part of the public conversation, you really want to get this part down, because they'll come tapping at your door. I'm going to unshare my screen, and then I'm going to open this back up to all of us. We should have everybody's face here. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go round robin. That was a lot of information. What stood out and what should we dig into? Michelle, I'm going to you first. Oh, got to unmute.
Sorry about that. I like the list of questions that you put up, particularly because it helps not just in an interview, but to kind of look at what that mission is. And so there's a direct tie there for me. And I hadn't really, because this evolved and it's so new, this in particular for me, I hadn't really thought much about a mission or partners other than with like the keychains, my daughter, because she offered to help with that side of things. So exploring possibilities of other things. And I also really like the TAP and the TAM piece.
Yeah.
Also things I really hadn't thought much about. I know why I started doing what I was doing, and I know why it was important for me, but I really hadn't thought much beyond that.
Right. And if you get a chance, I would put some pictures up in the chat box so that people can see what those images look like. They're clean. One of the things I really like about this product is that the image itself can be on a million different things. It can become something so big, and it's really looking at where is that market, what would it look like. It's because it's a clean image, I think you're going to see it be very sellable in a high-end grouping, clothing, things like that. The group Free People the clothing line, the Gypsy Free Will, Free People would love that product, and to be able to license it. I think that's a very licensable product. So I think going at here's the creative content, focusing on creative content, and then really looking at the TAM and the TAP on yours as well, because it's also a time consuming piece. You already have a whole business that is full time, that you may choose to just build a team separately and let them run it.
She has a click through to her store in the
in the Redbubble,
in the chat, and it's very interesting.
Like understand that's only about 2 weeks old.
Right.
Like it's super new.
Still get to see what's there. And also, if you haven't checked out Jay's Body Cafe, it is totally adorable.
Did you put it on here?
It's on there, but it's not. You have to cut and paste it.
Okay. Jay, will you go in and put just the click through, the www part, so they can just click into it?
The www part is there, but it didn't do the click through.
Oh, it didn't do it. No. Okay.
I tried that.
Okay, hold on. Let's find out why it's not working.
It let me click through it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just clicked through.
Oh, you
I
did?
just clicked on it and I went to the website.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
well,
she has
since
the
we're
Body
talking about
Cafe.
you, Jay, let's talk about you. What are you taking away?
I'm sorry, say it again. I can barely hear. I don't know what happened to my sound here.
Okay. So tell me what you're taking from this founder's mentality.
Okay, so I think my big takeaway right now was the failure part and being able to pinpoint what's not working. Like I basically
Oh, we lost her.
We lost her.
Okay. Well, we'll have to find her again. When she comes back, we'll grab her. Okay.
Yeah.
Sandy, what are you taking away?
What I'm taking away is the top 20 things to get cash in the door fast. I feel like my mentality is always, slow and plodding and, long range and, like I don't expect results immediately and I need to think of some quicker ways to get clients. So that was very helpful for me, thinking that mindset.
Yeah. And I think there's a whole conversation that can be had about the importance of where you live. That especially now in people that are working from home, that there is a whole nother conversation about space.
Yes, you're right. And people, so maybe, the travel time, like people like to live in the city, so they're close to things, but if they're working from home, maybe they need that bigger house, and it doesn't matter if they live way out in Shakopee. They can get that bigger house for less money and have the space that they need to work at home and have their kids at home. And so, yeah, it is a different way to think about where you live, definitely.
And that's never been here before.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's really, the world has reimagined itself forcibly, and we get to reimagine as well. But many of those jobs long term will, no matter if people can go back to work in March, even if they could, lots of people are going to say I don't want to.
I agree. Yeah.
And the concern that was there previously of you won't do as much work at home as you can at the water cooler, that conversation won't work in a lot of places anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're going to see a free up in the marketplace of what does workspace look like. And the investment in workspace. We've had a lot of companies have to invest in products and linking and IT to get people functioning.
Yes.
So it may also be an IT conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Donna, what are you taking away? There's a lot of pieces in here for you today.
Yeah, most certainly. Definitely, I'm a founder. It's on my business card, founder of Edo Tree Playful Art. And so this conversation today is a lot of, I mean, it's the creative stuff like that. Oh, and that's something from nothing, and then the founder's story. But then it also is like, you know, like it covers a whole gamut of really taking it out of that idea stage. So there was a lot of places to, like, if I was a bird, you would, you know, there was a lot of branches I could have landed on today. I think that I'm in some sort of place of where the failure thing is perhaps speaking to me, that failure is truth telling. You know, I'm a big fan of truth and integrity. And so I feel like there's some, that's just, and then that thinking you've helped me identify my superpower, which is to identify patterns. And I think I just, there's an equation for, you know, there's a truth telling equation here that I just need to recognize and then kind of move through it as a, just like a tool. So
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing.
And I think that superpower has already gotten you where you are, to be able to have a finished product, to be able to know where it's at, and the cash flow. You've got to deal with the cash.
And I mean, you know, as while I have been in sort of a pause mode, my trademarks have been just, so I have 4 trademarks, and I finally got the 3 of them issued, one together, and then this trailer. And so now all of them have been through their public period without contest, you know, on Soccer Birds. And then, and now it's time to deliver the you know, the proof, the intent to use has to be proof. So, I mean, even though I feel like I'm not doing a whole lot right now, the truth is something is happening with my business. And I don't know, just the story is taking a turn. I just never, it's like, anyway, it's just part of the story.
I like it. Okay, Jay, I'm going to go back to you. We lost you for a minute.
Yeah, sorry. I got these new ear pods, and I guess I'm still trying to work them. Every time I touch them, something weird happens. The phone starts talking, or I don't know. So
I don't know. It's working. It's working. Okay, so what are you taking away from today?
Okay, so my big takeaway is the failure part, because I am really big on trying to figure out like why something is not working.
Yep.
And so like for one, basically it's my social media. So really my body business, I've been doing this for like a very long time, but I pretty much just got rid of like an old business because I didn't feel like it really represented me anymore. Mm-hmm. And so now new brand represents me. So I'm kind of like in the stage of rebranding and kind of starting over and all that. So I really want to do it right. I want to see, social media is like one of those thorn in the side type things for me. So, and that's even with the other business. So I think my main thing right now is trying to figure out like why I can't get that part to work. What am I doing wrong? Or who do I need to hire to do that? Because I'm not good at marketing. I'm not, like, that's not my niche. You know, I like to make products. So I need to find someone who does that.
Well, so I'm going to put in here the sales funnel is really what you're looking for.
Okay.
That's what you're looking for. The other thing that I haven't looked at your social media, but this moon cake is just captivating. So the photography is good. The website looks good for those of you who are looking through it. I like the little badge on here with the whipped, and that it has your personality as well.
Okay.
Do you? I don't see the founder story on here, so I think that's where you can also work on.
Okay.
And why, right? Here's our story, but that's not really enough about you because your picture is on everything.
Okay.
Right? Right? Sometimes people buy the why and not just the what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
okay.
that moon cake, I would have, absolutely done a full moon sale every month. to be like, it's a full moon, get your moon cake,
Oh.
you know, like
Okay.
get it in, get that jam, get people into why this is delicious. These are all products that are luxury goods.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you're going with that, is why and when. When do I apply that piece of luxury to me?
Okay.
Why do I apply that? What is good about it? You can add something so simple to that product, which could be something like a story or something that makes it full moony, right?
Okay.
Or a new moon.
As a full moon insomniac myself,
Yes.
I think that, you know, you could just look up when all the full moons are and put something out about a week ahead or however long it takes to get your product.
Yep.
So that they can do that, because a lot of people have full moon insomnia. You may not think that, but it's true. And the new moon also is a place where people tend to start new projects, because the new moon has that energy. And the full moon is the revealing one. So
right. So I would just take that into that product of, right, a whole nother conversation that can come into that product that you can now push out. So that may be having two different flavors, a new moon flavor and a full moon flavor.
Okay.
Right? And then telling that story and giving somebody an interest of why they need one of these all the time. Because we also want them to buy that product consistently. And we want them to build a ritual with themselves.
Okay.
And that is, ritual is in all of our lives, right? If you are someone who loves coffee and you don't like junky coffee, you may have a ritual around that. You may have a ritual around a dinner. You may have a ritual around a morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have high-end products that are in that genre of, this is a specialty product, yes, it doesn't have gunk, yes, it doesn't have whatever, but you're really buying into how is that person having a relationship to themselves.
Okay.
So yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, Kathy had to bounce. Who haven't I gotten? Oh, Marge. Yeah, there's a lot in here for you. Can you give us some, also the Pinterest? You put a class together. You got a lot going on.
I think I would like to do a class on Etsy and Pinterest. Michelle knows a lot of that stuff. She's been my hero. Heard how many sales they had, but I have to show you something, which I don't know if you saw on the website, but can you see?
Oh yeah, the new product pieces of glass.
These are my prototypes. And so Mickey videotaped me in 2005 when I was going to be a millionaire, and you know, nothing even close happened. So I think, and so these are just prototypes, but just the fact that nobody is doing thin glass. So I am going to microwave this afternoon and see if it blows up. Maybe that's why they don't, but for people that don't know, it's this prep and serve is modular food storage container, and I'll put that website on there. But my couple takeaways, because I've now known you for 15 years out of my almost 20-year journey. And so the shades I'm making right now are not, we're not even in the, I wasn't a realtor. You know, I've been a realtor for 13 years. I've had a restaurant. I've had all these things because it didn't happen. And I get emotional because, you know, it's been a hard ride, but it's like this year, you know, to have a factory that's going to partner with me and take that production over. And we can be on Walmart open call. I got that. Everything yesterday. Like I got a lot of happened yesterday, but my house was foreclosed. My house was torn down, and we've rented. Now it's been 11 years. So I have excellent credit from being absolutely completely tanked, broke, you know, 2 years ago, like suicidally broke. And I don't have, so I haven't had property for years, but that's what that farm means to me, is that we will have a family homestead. It's really kind of what, a place to always go. And my mom's never owned property. And anyway, so
what are your takeaways?
is the journey is the journey is it. It's not, don't focus on the goal as much as the journey, and that constantly, check yourself, are you having fun? Are you having an interesting life? If you know, I mean, I think that I really got that from you. And way back, you were like, you need to have more fun. You need to have more fun.
Oh,
And that's what I said to Angie yesterday is our goal with this company is to make a lot of money and build a real business and have fun doing it. And this is a good friend of mine that owns this factory. And, you know, she's known me, she worked at my restaurant too. So I will have to talk to you more about, you know,
Right.
we'll discuss about this whole founder thing to be a partnership.
Is this, is the light shades on here? Is the click through
I
to use the shade?
I don't know if the link's clickable, but I did put it up.
Okay, good.
It's light wraps. And so that Walmart open call is a thing where, you know, hopefully we can get on walmart.com with the less expensive version is what I want to do.
Right.
But
So
yeah.
for everybody who doesn't know, these light wraps are every realtor's dream come true, because all these old houses had like this strip light, and then it had like 4 light bulbs in it in the bathroom that always made you look crappy. Anybody familiar with these? That they're like, oh gosh, what do I do with this, right? So
million. So everybody has to
everybody has been in this bathroom.
Night.
It's in every apartment. You can't change them. So Marge invented something that you can literally just put over it, and it installs in 15 minutes. It's very cost effective. You can pull it off when you leave. So one, you can take it with you. You're not going to get in trouble if you're renting, and it instantly makes it look cute. And this product, I don't know if you can, do you have one with you?
I was like, this is the shade we're painting on these shades. So, I mean, this is, it's like crazy, but it's like 2 brackets and shade.
Right. So
and it's
not the product,
like
but
2 minutes to put up. If you were in a hurry, boom, boom.
Yeah, 2 brackets you put up, and then there's a shade over it.
Right.
And so she went through and tried regular sales funnels, things like that. But the sales funnel that's working for you is Pinterest, because that's where people are going.
Let's see, I mean, I get 63% of my sales through social media, which is exclusively Pinterest, but I still get 30% through Etsy and through Google search. So having those keywords, I'm telling you, I talked to my manufacturer last week and he's like, aren't people brutal? Because they're on Amazon and people want everything in 2 days and want it perfect. On Etsy, I'm telling you, yesterday I had 2 people that got shades that were imperfect. One was bent. And then, oh, if you're going to send me a new shade, I'm going to order this other one for my other bath. I mean, I literally have had that happen a dozen times where people are a lot more kind because it's more of a creative thing. So anyway, it's like they allow imperfection, I guess. So.
Right. I love it. Okay. Let me go on to that. Thank you, thank you. And then Janet, what are you walking away with?
Well, first of all, the whole founder thing was all really new to me. So I want to watch this whole thing over again. It was amazing. And my story is, I never wanted to do what we do, which is have our own business, work at home if we choose to. I wanted to keep business separate from home, and I love going somewhere else, and I love the structure. And I worked in a 4-story office downtown Minneapolis in a magazine publishing company. And one day I found myself freelancing, and people asked me to do stuff, and I'm like, oh, so I have to be that 4 stories all in me. And then I have volunteers around the world, mostly US. And I have a service. But so your stuff is pretty new to me. And then the other part that's new, the other part I don't know how to quite work in is I once in a while think of like $1 million ideas, and you know, someone else has done them.
Yeah.
Usually by now, but I never tell anyone and I never know what to do with them. So I want to I want to tell you next time. Like I have a
Tell you
some
my
of them have happened, but not by me. So
Right.
So it would be to allow that person who thinks of the $1 million idea to this lecture or this class of how to look at moving that forward to happening.
Right. Right.
But,
Well,
and I'm doing, one more thing is I'm doing what my life's work is. Like I knew when I was 20, I wanted to put together words, but not write, and photos. I'm doing sort of my life's work, but I needed to do more of it probably. So that's it.
oh, okay. All right, Jamie, what are you taking away?
Oh, I cannot figure out what is going on. I'm taking away is like I'm a continual founder and refounder. As I was thinking, this was the first time I think that like I actually was like, oh, I am a founder. So I think that was a little bit of an aha moment. And the most thing I'm taking away is putting a why on each thing. And my story is really important, but there are a few things that I have going on now that I'm really, really like, I know that I'll make a lot of money in, but I don't think that I know my full why. And so I started writing down my why with my flower work. I just have been doing it and working with people, but like, my creative, the way that I create and do even like my events and stuff like that, like, I don't think until just now I knew my why.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's why, like, that hasn't taken on as big as it should. Like, I don't post a lot of it. I don't,
Right.
you know, and I'm really good. And so
yeah.
So like just my why, and it just like my why just really dawned on me, like my why. So
And what was it?
My why is because like, and Jeremy can like, or Jay, she could talk about this too, is like my mom loved flowers and plants. And most of the things that I make have something kind of drooping and hanging and that type of stuff. Well, my mom's favorite plants was spider plants. I have a picture with her. Jeremy, you remember the house used to be like covered with spider plants? And there would be other stuff like pops of colors, but there's always something hanging or drooping from what I create in my flowers. Or hanging.
So you like that bountiful drape.
Yeah, but I think my why subconsciously was like, I've been trying to really be present with my mom. My mom passed away when I was like 12 years old. And so like being present with her, it's allowed me to be like present with her in a very peaceful, non-sad way, very like, and that's a part, I think that is my why. I'm gonna write and explore this a little bit more, but I think it just dawned on me is like putting a why. And when I get those whys to some things that I feel like I'm ready to push the go on it, that I'm not pushing the go because I wasn't sure of my why maybe. Like I was just I'm an entrepreneur. I've been working for myself since forever. Since they told me I had to button up a shirt at the Gap, I was like, oh, hell no, I'm never working for anybody ever again. And so
when I look at your work, I think there is a why. And I think that why is that you want to make magical things happen for people.
Right.
I mean, that when you look at the things that you're doing, right, you're doing event planning, you're doing, weddings, you're doing special private events, things like that. I would go back in to go, what is it that only you can give, you and your team? What is the one thing that it's that signature you?
Mm.
And that's the gift that you're going to give to someone else, that you're going to give them magic, or you're going to give them a photograph they'll never forget, or there's something that is your gift. And the why for most people is that they are going to be driven to give that gift.
Right.
So think about what is always true. If it's always true that you love this, this bountiful thing that unveils itself, then use that language and sell it in that way, because you also have to find that out so that others can sell for you. You'll
Right.
sell yourself in a second. We need other people to sell you.
Right.
Right. Okay. I'm going to open this up because we still have a few minutes. We've got some new people here looking for ideas, things that you may have been thinking about for each other. We've got one. Jamie, do you have a website?
I am working on it, and I've
Okay.
paid somebody a lot of money, and I've just been very critical about it and about the launch and what it'll look like and all of that other type of stuff. So no, I do not.
Okay. So let's
But
put that in as a goal for you.
It is
Um,
like it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to have this done by
Yeah, just pick a goal. And then,
October 1st is my goal deadline.
okay. So I would just let the group know that, and then they can celebrate that with you. Because we've seen a lot of websites built. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see you in October for that good news. Okay, I'm going to open it up. Any ideas for any of you? Otherwise, I'm going to point to somebody, and we're just going to.
I had an idea. I mean, Sandy, and I'm not on Neighbor Next Door right now. Are you on Next Door in your area?
I am. Yep.
Somebody, I don't remember how that conversation started out, but I put it out there about that because I do a lot of staging and rehabs and stuff. And so someone paid me, when you were talking about instant cash or smaller projects, paid me to come over and give her a consultation, and then you know, some ideas for her place for when she sells, even though she's not ready to sell for a couple of years, but it's kind of like now she's in my database, and
Yep.
to get a review out of it, because you got to get reviews on that place. So I didn't know if it's, you know, helpful, but because
Okay.
you've done a lot of that too.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to not do real estate extras because I love to do it, but it's like this time conflict. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So you're talking about reviews on Nextdoor?
Yeah, it's like hard. How do you get reviews just in your own neighborhood if you haven't? I haven't sold. I have sold in my neighborhood, but not in my one little area. That.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Yep.
But I like that neighborhood site conversation actually for everyone, right?
Mhm.
Here's a business in our neighborhood. Did you guys know this? Shop local. This is why we like them. You know, this is there's a tool here. I don't know how to excavate it yet, but
I've had help with putting shades together, paintings, bracket. I mean, you know, that was right in the neighborhood. That's really handy and convenient. So if there's any services you need, you know how Fiverr's great for online stuff. That Nextdoor site's great for if you need some one-off kind of jobs too.
yeah, I like that.
Handier than Facebook, where it's all over the place.
Okay. Michelle, can we go to you?
Sure.
I think you've got a lot of new product here. Can I just let the group respond to your new product concept? And I'll just throw it out there for 5 minutes.
One thing I had was if that was made out of metal. Are you doing laser cutting or metal cutting, Michelle?
Are you talking about the?
Yeah.
Like for a candle holder or something, you know, like a 3-dimensional piece that if it was turned 3-dimensional and turned into one of those wire, because I'm trying to get wire brackets done. And so maybe we'll have to talk, because if I can find the resource for one thing, it might work for something else. But I could see that being 3-dimensional of the letters on different sizes, where it's a cube or I don't know what other shape with your different letters. Could be kind of cool.
Yeah, a lot of people have referred to them kind of as geometric.
Yeah.
Geometry.
There's always the Christmas ornament or the hanging thing. That it just seems like that application could end up to be many things.
Yeah.
Well, it's a modern design. So
Yep.
I'm loving that modern design as a licensed product. So if I were going to come to market with that product, I would have come in with the founder story, the why. I would have put the money into that creative process, right? Here's what we got and here's why we have it. And I would absolutely send that as a licensed product. Exactly what you're doing on Redbubble, but you have other things that are on there, but really focusing on that this is a Berg design. and that you want the real thing. When you start to look at other artists, other graphic design artists, I look at my favorite, Shag, out of Shag, the artist Shag, who he has this very unique style that other people are licensing. Disney licensed him, Target licensed him, because they wanted that to put on a certain product set. And that's where I think the largest amount of money is in that product for you, is not for you to have to build it. It's for you to have enough of the story that people can come back. I don't know if you remember the era of Caboodle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But then there was also, you know, certain designs that were in that era, right? When you think about Caboodle, you also think about what else was in style at that time. Or if you think about My Pretty Pony, right? That My Pretty Pony is on everything, right? They only had to invent the pony once.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then looking.
And all of her designs are copyrighted as soon as she makes them. So
Right. But now licensing them out.
Yeah.
And that licensing would do very well in a high impact a t-shirt, right? Because we're in the t-shirt generation, right? And then I would look to where that spiritual component of that story aligns. So Athleta would be where this would align to. And it would align to your love of yoga as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this could go completely into the yoga world. This could go completely into modern design world. This would look great on a candle. That design would look great in every kind of market that you can get to that's looking for a fresh design. That's why Redbubble is so popular. For those of you who haven't hung out on Redbubble, what I love about Redbubble is that it gives the artist a way to show their design on truly, I think there's 1,500 different products in there.
Probably.
And they print and go. So that you don't have to have inventory, you don't have to have a bunch of stock, but you can just get that design out there and working.
For license,
Michelle, I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing a card deck for meditation?
That has come up a few times, and I actually have about 40 of these. I haven't shared them all, and I'm in the process of, so they're all hand-drawn digitally to begin with, but I'm in the process of vectorizing them so that they are of high quality and, you know, you can scale them to any size and not lose the integrity of the design. But yeah, I think I'm close to having enough for a deck, and I haven't sorted that out in my head, but it's floating around.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of different decks, not just tarot decks, but there's a deck for everything. And it's the whole idea of focusing on the image and then, you know, what it's for, that I think really helps people. It helps my clients, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a friend who has a group, and the only thing that happens in the group is that every day she posts a word, and it's just like an opportunity to kind of focus on that word and see what comes up for you. And she and I have talked a lot, and she's been sharing some of the symbols that are done that tie to words that she's using. But it would be the same kind of concept. And
You just need a cool box to put them in.
right, yeah. I looked at a few different websites that do that,
Right.
but as far as I got.
Or again, license it to somebody else and let them run with the whole thing. This is a gift shop product. This is something that can have a new something every year. It's easy to kind of go, and here's our inspirational words for the year.
Yeah.
It's
Is it
easy
weird that when you talk about that, I want to barf?
the licensing portion or the every year?
No, the licensing.
Okay. And why is that feeling gross?
I don't think gross is the word, but it's just super overwhelming. Like, we're only a couple months into it, and I just started doing them as a release for myself. And the idea that someone else would be interested at that level is just really overwhelming.
Well, it may be, well, therein lies, can I give you a piece of great news?
Yeah.
Licensing paperwork for that design is a piece of legal work. It's about $1,500 for the license agreement. So there's your investment. And it's about, 16 pieces of paper that says, here are the rules. And it's one signature. One from you, one from them. It's an easy process. So it's not a whole business plan that you have to make.
And you get to decide what's appropriate.
Yep. So, and that'll come when you're ready. You're still unveiling what that product is.
Yeah.
But I love that we've driven you to tears already. So far we had 2 people in tears today. That's a low. That's a low.
And I can't hand you any Kleenex, so.
Right.
And I don't have any on my desk either, but that's
Right.
okay.
Jay, can we focus on you for 5 minutes? Yeah, you. Me.
I have a question for Jay.
Okay.
You said that you had kind of inherited this business and that it doesn't reflect you. Is that what you said?
No, I said that my old business, basically I've been making products for since 2006. And my first business was called Jay's Precious Cargo. But it was really kind of dainty, and I just felt like I was in a box with this brand because of what I wanted it to be when I first started. So what I did was got rid of that brand and created a new brand. So Jay's Body Cafe is my new brand, and that's basically kind of like a spinoff from that. So now I feel like I can really represent me with this new brand, because I love making things that like just tend to kind of look like the moon cake. It looks like something edible, right? But it's actually a lot of the things I make, they smell really good. They look edible. Sometimes people don't want to use them because they look like, I don't know, just something you can eat, or they smell like something that you can eat. So hence Jay's Body Cafe. So
I just like the whole idea of it, that you're feeding your body from the outside.
Right.
When people use it, I always get comments like, man, is there some cake? Somebody making some cake or something? Like the chocolate one that I like. But yeah, me and she's Jeremy to me. This is like my first cousin. Our mama's our sister. So sorry if I call her Jeremy. But me and her talk a lot, and we were talking as she was coming into changing over to her thing, and I was talking about like Jay's Precious Cargo, just it felt like it was her baby, and that was Jeremy's baby. And this one, I was talking to her about like her story, and that like most of us women that buy products and stuff, we like want to know the why that this person created this product, or how is it going to feed a need into us. And I think that if she told that story, because she's just a real private person, period. So like a part of that is being like honest and open with people that are outside of you. I think hands down people would, buy her stuff like tons and tons and tons if she was able to put that out in the public.
Right. So here comes the really big conversation, right? Of, are you building a company that represents you, or are you building a company that represents another person? And I think that's also going to be part of your journey, Jay, of do you want to be the face of that company, or do you want everyone else to be the face of that company? So
I want to be the face because the last one I wasn't. And that's why I felt like I was so in a box. I felt like I couldn't really truly represent my brand. Well, this time I want to be the face. I want to represent my brand.
Okay. And so when you are looking at that, that means that you're going to try to build people to have an imaginary relationship with you.
Okay.
Right? So that when you are the face of that brand, one, it does make it less sellable later. So if you're kind of off it, if the founder story is great, but if they're only expecting your face to sell it, we're going to have a problem later.
Okay.
So You've got to also let people figure out how that can be their emblem. I put up for everybody the list of Lush and the bath pastries that you have. Jay, I love it that it's bath pastries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's this. There isn't another thing in the market that says that.
Okay.
But Lush is going to be a business model for you to look at.
Okay.
When they have a very intimate relationship with their customers. One of the things that Marge said earlier that I put up for everybody to remind them about is having a database. That database for you is liquid gold. And that database is really for product sales, really that crucial piece, because the best time to sell somebody something is right after you sold them something. Right.
Okay.
So the minute that they buy from you, that's when they want to buy something more, right? That's why we have the checkout aisle that has all these lovely little bits at the end, right? You're going to go buy something. Oh, there's one more thing. I can put it in my cart.
Right.
So looking at the sale of that product. Oh, you bought something. Great. I'm going to put in a coupon for you to get this item next time. Or you get a free lip or whatever that may be.
Okay.
That the minute that they buy something and receive it, you're going to give them a way to buy something more at a special price, at a
Okay.
special relationship. And that may also be who gets that product in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So the coloring that you have is very, bright. It's very exciting.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's enticing. It's eye-catching. It's now. And that coloring, they may have questions on. Will it stain my tub? Will it do, these other things? So that's also what social media is going to do for you. Is
Mm-hmm.
it's going to help you, help them understand, no, you're not going to turn pink.
Right.
Right? Or what are you using? Is this beet juice? Is this whatever? So more information around the product and the product use itself. And that's what social media is going to do for you. And that's where, having somebody showcase in their reviews what their bathtub looks like. Right? Is it going to wipe out clean? Do I want this all stuck to me and now I'm pink?
Right.
Right. So
by the way, my products do that, so no.
See?
But I do, yeah.
But they're curious. They just don't know.
Right.
And so bright colors, things like that you're putting onto your body, I would also look at, when is that the gift to give? Can I send this to a friend? Those lips, anyone who has lips, they want a lip gift. And then I would think about on your Pinterest board of the places that a set of lips or a lip trio, if you've got your coloring worked out, this would be great for a fall lip trio. Treat it like makeup, right? That this is a fall lip trio, or look, we have a new this color, or it's wrapped a certain way. Give them ways to play with the concept of, I have a secret, right? Those lips can come out as somebody who wants to announce something. It can come out as a secret. It can come out as just, you're so dang cute, I could scream. I mean, it can be a lot of things. So think about what those lips represent. And then really understand your cost on that product. Because something that's small like that, I don't know the size of it by the look of it. So I think having product sizes would be really helpful.
Okay.
Because I can't really, you've given us the ingredients, but they're going to want more on sizing. What does it do? Give me all of the feedback on it.
Okay.
At the ordering stage.
Okay.
Because sometimes people are disappointed that it's not the size that they thought it was. Either it's bigger or smaller or something. And so it is hard to see, what the size actually is.
Okay. Okay. I can think of some different ways to, put pictures on there that, maybe someone's holding one of them in the tub right before they're putting it in there,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way, how big it would be, things like that. Okay.
Physically give them the size. It's 2x2 or 2x4 or 4x4 or whatever. So
Okay.
they kind of get an idea of what that size is. That will also let them know how many they should order. So you're going to end up with someone like me who is a bathtub crazy person, that, I have annual baths of many kinds because I have an 82-inch bathtub. So, two people can fit in my bathtub. So
Mhm.
I'm going to have a lot of questions around that. How many
Mhm.
of them should I put in? Right? That is this for a standard sized bathtub? If you have an extra one, if you have jets, that bath products have a lot of questions around them for consumers.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
and the minute that you can make that personal and get in there as to why that is, what you'll learn from Lush is the storytelling of the product. I think Lush has done a really good job of explaining that Joe standing over here made that product just Tuesday.
Okay.
and they literally write it on every product.
Yeah.
Who is the physical person that made it? Jay doesn't have to be the person that made it, but if Sarah made it, then have Sarah write him a note, or have Sarah say, hey, we made this. This is the day it was created just for you.
Okay.
So
I just have a couple reminders.
Yep.
So this is being recorded, and usually the recording is available in a day or two, and I will send you the link to it if you want to see it again. And I will send you the chat file today.
Oh, good.
Thank
And then
You're
you
trying to
will,
write it down. I'm like, oh my God.
right.
Well, it's not a public. It'll be on YouTube, but it's not public. So
You guys will get it for the people that were in the class, but it doesn't go out to everyone else. You'll have a link for that. But the class itself, the audio version will put up on that secret website. So that on Podbean, so that'll be ready. Kelly will probably get that done today. So if you want to re-listen, I will put up, oh, she's already got it up there. Okay, God, I love her. So I will type that in here right now. This is the secret audio. So if you missed last week's class, or Sandy, if you're going to go back and re-listen the stock class, that's the secret place that we have them hidden. I think there's 70 episodes on there, so it's easy to get lost in there. So I would focus on the classroom. The rest of those are from all the prosperity work that we're doing, not the business class. I just send them over there because it's easy for you guys to get to. Okay, any last questions for me? I thank you. I thank you. I hope you learned something. Bye. Jay, I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Okay.